One last religion story, because this is actually big news. The Southern Baptists yesterday took a vote to condemn IVF. I want to channel my inner Donald Trump when he was talking to Kanye West. I want to say, thank you, Southern Baptists. Very cool, extremely based. This is great stuff. Shows a great deal of perspicacity. Politico reports the Southern Baptist Convention, this is the nation's largest and most politically powerful Protestant denomination, voted to oppose in vitro fertilization. Why? The resolution was passed by 11,000 almost so-called messengers to the SBC. They write that IVF, quote, most often participates in the destruction of embryonic human life. They've called on Southern Baptists to adopt and, quote, only utilize reproductive technologies that affirm the unconditional value and right to life of every human being. The resolution is non-binding. Look, we're talking about Protestantism, a religious movement that is founded on being non-binding. So, still, it's pretty binding for being non-binding. It impels nearly 13 million Southern Baptists across 45,000 churches to condemn IVF. Really good, because the problem with IVF is, as they mention, in practice, it almost always results in the killing or perpetual freezing and eventual killing of a lot of babies. Even if IVF didn't lead to the mass killing of babies, as it does, what it does do is invert the natural order by insisting that parents, that adults have a right to a child. The only person who can be said legitimately to have rights in the process of procreation is the child, who has a right to his natural mother and father, to be the product of the specific conjugal act of his mother and father bound together in marriage. That the child can claim a right to that. Parents don't get to claim a right to a child through commerce. And that is extraordinarily degrading and contrary to human dignity. That's a problem. So the Catholics have long held this. Until yesterday, the Protestant groups hadn't really weighed in. And so Republican politicians now face a big problem, because Republican politicians, up to and including the Republican nominee for president, have come out recently in support of IVF. I said this is a big mistake. I grant to Republicans that this is a bioethically complex issue that most people haven't given much thought to. And so I grant, if you run on, we're going to get rid of IVF campaign in 2024, that might hurt you in the polls, and it's probably not politically prudent. So I'm not saying you got to run on that. I just said, if I were advising President Trump or any number of Republican politicians, I would say, hey, just play it cool on IVF. You don't need to campaign against it very actively, but recognize this is bioethically insupportable.